but concise. When coming to the microphone, you will need to identify yourself and your relationship to the project. The commissioners will not ask any questions during your presentation. Your project should be presented in the following order: site plan, elevations, architectural details, wall sections. Staff presents their staff report. We'll then ask for public comment. Please state your name clearly if you're here to speak for or against a project. Your time will be limited to 3 minutes. So take some time now to summarize your comments because 3 minutes goes by very quickly. Following the public comment, the commissioners will be asking questions in the same order as the presentation. Next, the applicant will have 5 minutes for rebuttal. The public hearing will then be closed. After the public hearing is closed, no further testimony can be given. The commissioners will then discuss the case and will make the decision based on Chapter 27 of City Code of Ordinances, the design guidelines, the Secretary of Interior Standards, Historic Preservation Development Review Committee, HPDRC comments, and the testimony given at this public hearing. The BOC can only act on items that are within our specific jurisdictional responsibility. Owner agents are independently responsible to obtain any appropriate permits and/or approvals. If you haven't already done so, please silence cell phones. I would like to introduce the commissioners, starting on my left over there.
Vivian Salaga, Preservation Architect.
Roberto Torres, independent business owner.
Richard Cahill, general contractor.
Good morning, Chase Corley, Financial Services.
Thank you. Then introduce staff. We have Dennis Fernandez with us, Ron Vila, Alexis Guzman, and our attorney, Dana Crosby Collier. All right, let's see. Where's my... So then,
Next, we'll just need a review of the minutes from the last meeting and a motion, please.
right, so we had a chance to review the minutes. Get a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passed.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dennis Fernandez, Architects Review and Historic Preservation Manager. Welcome to today's hearing. Before we get into our preservation in progress presentation, I did want to provide the March 2025 administrative approvals into the record. We can accept those by motion at the end of the meeting. And then also let you know that we do have this month's version of Tampa Bricks and Mortar, our newsletter that's in your packets. It does feature the Dobie House, which is the subject of our preservation in progress this morning. And Ron Vila is going to present that to you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila. I'm staff with Historic Preservation. As Dennis spoke about, our Tampa Bricks and Mortar features the Dobie House. And as part of the preservation in progress, our continuing education and preservation. This is the Richard Dobie House that is at 1405 West Azeel Street. This is in the Hyde Park Historic District. And looking at the boundaries of the district, which is outlined in red, the Hatchton area was a joint venture between the residents of Hyde Park and the city of Tampa to expand the district. So what's hatched in to the north was the expansion. This also involves Dobieville, which is part of Richard Dobie's house here. This is just a current aerial showing the area in question that was expanded. And then this is Azeel Street here, and the house that we're going to feature today is circled in the green box. Going back to the early 1900s, this Sanborn map is from 1915. We're focusing on Dobieville, and you see the size of the houses here. You see the parcel and then the structures themselves, and you see how small the structures were. This was part of an area that came out of the ground around 1912. The part of Dobieville, many of the homes were the support staff for some of the more affluent people that lived in the area. As I stated, this area is respecting Richard Dobie, and the significance of the area, they received a plaque. It fit two criteria to move forward as a local landmark. One criteria, the criterion A, was that it was planning in a community development inspired area. And then the second criterion was the ethnic heritage associated with that area. The action has to follow some protocol moving forward. The application was received in 2024. It went in front of the HPC, which is the Historic Preservation Commission, and they recommended to approve. It goes to the Planning Commission also for a review and approval, and then ultimately approved by City Council. There was an elementary school associated with Mr. Dobie in the area. Since then, it has been removed, it's been demolished, but you see what was the railroad is across town today as the divider that I showed on some of the previous images, and that's the area that we're here today. So as I stated, just kind of continuing education for this board, no action is required.
Thank you, Ron. And with the adoption of the ordinance establishing the Richard Dobie House as a local landmark, that is our 105th local landmark. It is designated in the city, all different types of buildings and structures. And of course, we are in one of those. The 1915 Old City Hall is also a local landmark. Moving on, we are going to go into the disclosure of conflicts of interest and ex parte communication, and I'll ask our legal counsel to lead that discussion.
Good morning. Dana Crosby Collier from the City Attorney's Office. I'd like to ask if any member has a conflict of interest with any item on the agenda today. Okay. And has any member engaged in an ex parte communication regarding any item on the agenda today?
None.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving through the agenda, we do not have any continuations to act upon, but we do need to administer the swearing. So anyone in the audience who's going to be presenting or providing public testimony at this morning's hearing, if you could please stand and raise your right hand for the swearing from Ms. Guzman.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll be providing today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, agency.
And with that, we're ready for our item to be reviewed. Ron will introduce this case. It's BLC 2558.
Good morning, Commissioners. Once again, Ron Avila with the City of Tampa. Our first agenda item is BLC-25-000058. This is for the address of 1607 North 22nd Street. There is a contributing structure there that dates back to 1923. The underlying zoning is YC6. The request this morning is for new construction for a rooftop addition. This project did come forward in March, received preliminary approval. I spoke with the agent. He's going to give you just a brief overview and then focus on the items that were outstanding from the preliminary approval. They're on your staff report, so you could follow along as well. Just briefly, just to get you re-familiar with the area in question, it is a contributing structure. It's made of brick. It faces 22nd Street, which runs north and south, and it's in between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue. Back in 1929, there was an alley that bisected that area. That alley has been vacated since then. This is showing the perimeter of the local district of Ybor City and the proximity of where that structure sits within that vicinity. This is just a current aerial showing 22nd Street, north and south, and then the southern street referencing is 5th Avenue, and to the north you have 6th Avenue. I'm going to walk you around the facade of the structure in question. This is the southern facade. In the foreground you see a courtyard, which is a drop-off area, and then the two-story building behind it. This is looking down the sidewalk and 22nd Street to the north. Just a different perspective from 22nd Street, looking back at the building. This is the southern facade and then the west. Focusing on the west facade. And just narrowing in the question, what's in the question in front of you today is the rooftop addition. Here and here. This is 6th Avenue to the north of the structure that's here. They're looking to put the rooftop addition in that area. This is looking back down 22nd to the south. And going around to the rear of the structure, which is the east. That concludes the photo presentation. As I stated, focus on the preliminary approval and what was outstanding, and at this time, the agent will address the board.
Morning, Commissioners. Jeff Shannon, 2025 East 7th Avenue Council, here on behalf of Casa Santo Stefano LLC. Just to refresh everybody's memory, continue the conversation that Ron started. We are here just to pursue and seek a final approval for this rooftop project. There were 4 conditions, I believe, that the commission had tasked us with at the last hearing, and we brought our team here today to talk about those. We've been working hard with Ron and his staff to make sure that we address all of the concerns of the commission. So let's get into a little bit of the detail, and then we'll circle back. Thank you.
Which, oh, okay, it should pop up.
That's what you're seeing right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, good.
Okay, good morning. I'm Joe Hafner, Hafner Architects in Hyde Park, 417 South Hyde Park Boulevard. This is Grant Rimbry with Hafner Architects as well. I wanted to pick up where the 4 issues are that were left over from last meeting. We'll run through the plans quickly just for a general reference point. If you need anything, we'd be glad to go back to the plans. But the first drawing here shows a site plan for the building, and it really doesn't affect the site plan or any landscaping or any additions because it's a second floor roof over an existing balcony area or second floor outside deck area. So go on to the next one. Next one, the shaded area on the left side of the drawing is where the agreement's been made to just enclose the north end of the exterior deck area. So the shaded area that's hatched is what we're talking about. It's about 1,600 square feet in area. Next one. Structural drawing, we made some modifications last time from sizing the beams at W12s down to W8s to lower the height and the mass of the exterior roof edge, which we'll get to in a minute. This would be the flat area roof plan that you see with the roof drains and the slope of a tapered board, insulation board. So there is no really thickness to the roof that you would see from ground level. Next are the exterior elevations. The top elevation is what you would see from the 22nd Street going north, which is a north-south direction, but it's a one-way street going north in terms of travel path. And what you see there is all you would see if you're up in the air would be the line of the roof. But it's so far back that from ground level you'd never see it. On the bottom elevation is the west elevation, which if you're facing looking east, you would see the line and the covered roof area to the left. There's 4 bays that would have posts on it. Next one up. This would be the north elevation, which you would see the 6 spaces of columns in the flat roof area. Next. Keep going. Okay. This is the kind of the meat and potatoes part of it on our A1 4.1 drawing. What we're doing is on the left-hand drawing is adding a concrete curb unit to hold the mass of the roof down without taking the weight of the structure into the building below and the existing parapet wall, which is fragile and we don't want to load it up. So we've added a concrete curb that's going to run around the L-shaped, around the inside of the parapet wall. It won't be seen anything from the outside. All the columns that we're showing are 4-inch steel columns. They will be centered on the beam, and they go up to the rooftop. Which go to the next one. Go one more. Okay. On the rooftops, what we have is that was in question. 2 of the issues, some conditions from last meeting, were to try to reduce the size and mass of the roof edge. What we shown on the left is what we had on 325. It was roughly 22 inches in height from top to bottom. The one on the right is modified type, which we've pulled the insulation back from the edge, so it's behind a sight line that you would see from ground level. You wouldn't see it, and we've cut the thickness of the edge almost in half to 11.5 inches. We've changed the beam size from the W12 to W8, and like the drawing shows, we pushed it back. So, go one more. If you superimpose these on top of each other, the dark one you see is the current one that we have detailed. The one behind it is the one that we had back on March 25th, I think it was. So that pretty much explains what we can do. The columns are still in the same position. We can't structurally move those any further into the building. It's not a requirement that we move them into the building because we're not taking any government money for the project. And also the YC6 has a different described purpose in the guidelines than 7th Avenue does. It's more of a residential, commercial, transitional area, and it's to be evaluated differently than what this would be if it were on 7th Avenue and trying to make the setbacks that Ron has shown in the past. So with that, we'll leave it for any questions you may have. No, we can come back to them if we want.
Thanks, Joe. Jeff Shannon again. Just wanted to also mention on the fourth and final condition, there was a statement made at the last hearing that the owners of Casa Santo Stefano, the Gansmart family, have agreed not to enclose this structure at any time in the future. And certainly if plans were to change in the future, we would be back before this commission to discuss it. But certainly that's the agreement. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear to the commission. Thanks.
Commissioners, Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. That concludes their presentation. There was 4 outstanding items that were addressed this morning. From preliminary approval, staff find that this condition is that this request is consistent for final approval moving forward, and I'll be here to answer any questions.
Is there anyone from the public here to speak on behalf of the project? For or against? Seeing none, we can move on to questions.
I just want to state that I think that the addressing of the concerns that were raised at last meeting have been satisfactorily presented in this hearing, and I have no further questions.
No questions.
Good morning. I was not here for March, so is there a perspective rendering that you could indicate or show?
Should we show the old one or the new one? It's this one, I think, right?
Okay, Joe Hafner again with Hafner Architects. This drawing shows the existing conditions that are out there now where with 3 colored umbrellas that kind of got trashed with the storms. But there is a high 7'4" to 7'8" railing system around the north end, and that's pretty much the same locations that the columns we've talked about are going to go in to hold up the roof. They'll just be a little bit taller. So this is the existing condition. Then we did a couple rendering modifications from the last meeting where this shows the diminished, reduced edge to the 11.5 inches on the edge condition. The insulation that is higher is way back, back on the roof, so it's out of your sight line. And we, kind of changed the color to the, Air Force gray that you won't see.
Air Force gray. How are you draining the roof?
The storm shades would go so they can serve dinner and stuff if it's raining.
Sure.
It's hard to draw screen shades.
Understood.
Not have them be all black.
Understood. Been there. How are you draining the roof system?
The roof has 2 internal drains and an overflow drain, so we're sloping it with tapered insulation board back to the center and then running running the drain pipes through the roof to the backside of the building.
Okay.
So
That's
we
all
didn't,
my,
we didn't want to put any gutters or downspouts on the visible part of it.
appreciate that. Thank you. That's why I asked the question. I have no further questions. Thank you.
I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Just a quick question for clarification. For the previous actions on the project in 2010 and then I think in 2012, I see some ad valerums that were approved for the building. And does that mean that the building had tax credits applied to it?
Why not?
Good morning, Commissioners. Dennis Fernandez with the staff. So the project did go through an ad valorem tax exemption process. However, that is in place for 10 years, so that would have already termed out in 2022.
Appreciate the clarification. And then, so then this rendering, are we on the sidewalk across the street from the building? Is that sort of the viewpoint we're kind of looking at the moment?
Yeah, can you go back?
Yeah, or the center?
Joe
the road?
Hafner, again, go back to the first one. Yeah, this is kind of standing on the railroad tracks, looking.
Railroad tracks, okay.
Southeast maybe, to the corner. 6th Avenue is what you see, the crosswalk there in the bottom of the picture. And then you have the railroad track and then up to 7th Avenue.
Gotcha. Then could you bring up the roof plan of the canopy
Yeah,
again?
back to the roof plan drawing.
Fast. No, it's another file.
You need to list it where it is.
No, I'm gonna have to go.
Let's take a look.
There you go.
Can you zoom in a little bit, just so I can kind of read it a little more clearly? So you have the drain in the center of the roof, and then where's the overflow drain?
Okay, there's
Oh,
two drains that
there's
you
two
see
drains.
where the
Okay, yep.
triangles meet.
Okay,
So those are each regular drains, then in between them is an overflow drain that's set higher typically.
I see. So I was wondering if would it be at all possible to shift those drains, sort of plan south and north a little bit, just so that we can have a little less tapered insulation at the edges and try to even slim that a little more? Because I know you shifted the insulation back by about, looks like maybe about 4 to 6 inches, I can't quite tell. And then depending on where your perspective is, at least you kind of go further out if you can kind of minimize that even a little more. I'm just wondering if that's at all possible.
Well, if you look at this plan, the drains are set equally on
Right.
the slope, so if you move in one direction, you're increasing insulation on one side of the building. So you're making it worse.
Well, because the thing is, if you increase the installation in the center, right, we wouldn't be seeing that center portion, right, because it's further set back into it. So we need to kind of tent the center a little bit. We can actually decrease the edges.
The 4.4.
It's sloping to the center, right? But I'm just saying if
No,
it slopes towards the center, but if it's offset a little bit and then the center is slightly ridged,
Yeah.
then we could make the edges
Yeah,
even
let's
thinner,
go.
right?
He's correct, though. If you're offset, one side's gonna get higher.
Yeah, if you look
Right,
at
but that's what
the
you
right
both
side, the right side of the drawing we have up now,
Mm-hmm.
your view angle from the ground level is set at a 60-degree angle, and you're gonna see the front edge, I can't point to it, but where he's got the pointer, you're gonna see the front edge, but you don't see the thickness of the insulation or the back part of it at all. And you're right, it's set back 4 inches, and that's all it takes to get out of view. But if we move the drain, right now they're centered because that's the most efficient way to drain that roof based on the size of it, is to go with the equalized triangles to the drains. If we move it one direction to the other, you're gonna increase the slope of the roof on the wider side, and that's gonna make it bigger.
Can you show that street elevation again from the actual photo from the street? Where is the line of the canopy, the new canopy? Is it where that existing canopy is at the rear wall, or is it higher?
No, it's not as high, it's not as high as, what you see on the far left, it's the kind of the yellowish stucco. That's a parapet wall that's higher than what this roof will be. By
So
about
where
4
would
feet.
the roof line be in the
About-
new canopy?
It would be about, yeah, this rendering shows it better. It'd be
Well,
about,
I want to see the street elevation because this angle is not
okay. good.
aligned with the
Good.
actual photograph. So the photograph you had, that you
Okay.
just had.
You want to see that photograph?
Yeah, and then just point where the canopy line starts.
Okay, because we have an elevation drawing as well, if you'd rather see it.
The perspective matters because we're having a conversation about the height of the insulation. So right now, the upper image,
The upper one, okay.
the upper one.
So it's right here.
That
Yeah.
canopy, the current canopy, is lower than the new canopy. Is that
Yes.
correct? And where is the new canopy going to land on that face?
It'll go down one drawing. Okay, you see where it is right now?
does-
It's-
that
it's
doesn't-
down. It's still down about 5 feet from the top of the roof there.
Please go back to the actual photograph.
Okay,
So-
it's good, in terms of the canopy over the door, it's gonna be, the door's 8 feet, so it's gonna be about 3 feet higher, probably.
Okay. So if they move the roof drains, like you asked, so that they minimize the front edge, as they move, if they creep forward, they're going to have to go higher in the back. And so they're already, they're indicating they're right about here. As he tapers and tapers and tapers, it's gonna climb, and the flashing's gonna get closer and closer to that.
No, because I'm thinking they do it so it's pitched 4 ways. So it's like a third offset in the center, so it goes, each way there's a slight ridge in the center. Does that make sense?
Well, they currently have, so it gets lower in the center, you
It's a
understand
valley
that,
in the
right?
center.
So, they already have 4 slopes,
Right.
and they have a valley.
Does this make sense? So like what they kind of have right now is, kind of goes this,
Yep.
right? And then there's like a drain here, something, if they do something like this here, like this, and we do something like this, right? You could actually probably minimize this, and then,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
might be just an inch or something like
He's
that. It might
talking
not be a
about,
lot.
he's talking about making 2 areas.
But an inch isn't going to make any difference
you're talking about something that's
perceptually. You're
negligent.
talking about something that's so minimal to the eye from the street
Okay, well, 4.
that to enforce a redesign of their drainage system would probably not be an
It'd be
appropriate
huge
thing
because
to
it's-
do.
It's probably just inside the structure slope, a 1/4 inch per foot, right?
But this,
Going down to
this
some
was
drain.
a, this was a,
That's what I'm asking.
this was a condition that we approved last meeting, though.
Well, the
So-
condition was what we would try to minimize that edge condition as much as possible, right? So I'm just wondering if there's a way to minimize it, just slightly even more.
But they've cut it in half. So I
Yeah,
think
22
change it.
to what, to?
If we change
To 11.5?
the insulation thickness, it's still not gonna affect the edge that you see from the ground level where that hatch line, the vision line is. It has no effect on that at all. And if we move it another 6 inches, it's not gonna have any effect on your vision line of what you see.
Right.
So,
Because I mean,
it's
you're
a
still see it
negative.
peeking through a little bit if you're on the opposite side of the street, right? So I'm saying
You're not-
minimize
you-
that.
the
I'm
further
nitpicking,
away-
I'm nitpicking,
the
I wouldn't
further-
admit that, I am nitpicking a bit here, but.
The further away you get, the less you're going to see that roof. Unless you're up in the air, you're not gonna see that roof from ground level at all, the further away you get. You won't see the roof drains in the middle of the roof, you don't see the insulation at the edge. That's all been pulled back out of the line of vision.
Is there any new lighting or signage that will be a part of this canopy?
What's that?
Hi, Tim Steele, Columbia Restaurant Group. I'm the construction and facilities manager. There's a couple things that, what are you using a pointer? To answer your question on the lighting, who asked that? I didn't, yeah. We have some festival lights up underneath there. We're not gonna do much more than that.
Okay.
It's gonna be minimal. We may put some stuff on the post and that stuff, but we have pretty good lighting, at night out there as it is.
Is that including any cleanup post events? Because, if you have house lights that you need for cleaning the space at night
That-
after a setup?
Good question. No, we won't need that. Right now, there's no lights there at all. We're able to clean the outside
Okay.
as it is. There's enough ambient light with the festival lights to get in there.
Thank you.
I'm gonna, I've I've asked them, see this area that I'm mousing around right here? The first time I saw these drains, which are important, I wasn't real wild about that, only because we're gonna have to manifold those pipes, run them out here. I've asked them, but we have not had a chance yet, to see if we can actually take this whole water and shed it this direction. If you see that little squiggly line there, we have, the prior approvals, this whole back line is where all my gutters are manifold, taking all the water. So there's a good chance, I hope, that we can shed virtually all this water out this way. I prefer not to have the roof drains, but as mentioned before, the roof drains are kind of a moot point because they're so far within. I don't like to see them visually as far as an aesthetic part. So it's my thinking that if we were able to lose those drains, you guys wouldn't care too much one way or the other, and we could shed that water right off. We're still, without having the roof, we're dumping all the water on the alley. I'd rather dump it in the back. That's my plan. Okay?
Thank you.
Any more questions? No, I do applaud the effort. I was just wondering if there's any more, just slight refinements that we could potentially do, right? So let's see. So given the discussion and the questions you've heard, you have up to 5 minutes for rebuttal, if you would like to take some time to say anything. Right. So at this point, we'll close the hearing, and then we can discuss the case. I'll start with my commissioner on the right here.
Yeah, I have no further comments at this time. Thank you.
I just want to say on the fascia, I feel like because they have that one detail where it steps back, it almost emulates what a gutter system would do. So it adds another line of shadow around the fascia, and it really helps break that mass up. Because it is another 4 inches above that. It's actually 15.5 inches, but it'll help soften some of that.
Yep, no comments.
No, I didn't agree. I applaud the effort, and I think you did a good job to meet the criteria that we had set in the previous meeting. Thank you so much. With that, do we have a motion?
I move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC, and I just moved the paper to the wrong spot. In BLC 25-000058 for the property located at 1607 North 22nd Street, because based upon the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Ybor City design guidelines of the City of Tampa for the following reasons. That it's setback, alignment, height and width and similarity of building materials is consistent for new construction and additions within the district.
Do we need to set conditions for them not to enclose the, okay.
They had already stated it. Do I need to make it with
Yes,
conditions?
in order to appear. on the
Okay, I'm sorry.
plans.
Move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings. I thought they had already put it in their drawings. For the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC 25-000058 for the property located at, and I did it again, sorry, 1607 North 22nd Street, with the following conditions: that the owner agree and state on all plans that the canopy shall not be enclosed in the future, because for the following reasons, the design is in alignment with the Ybor City design guidelines of the City of Tampa in regards to height and width, its setback, and the similarity of building materials.
A motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Move to receive and file submitted documents, exhibits during today's public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, yeah, I should say. And then with that, I can call an adjournment to today's public hearing.